We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. This is Cheryl from Dja country. G'day everyone and welcome to Beyond 90, the podcast, episode 101. It kind of sounds like a cool number, but it's just a number. It's great to be here again. It's great to get over that milestone of 100. It must be like a real cap for Lydia Williams, who's coming up to her 100th cap. It's something that you just want to get over and done with. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Welcome to the crew as well. We were hoping to have a couple of special guests that didn't eventuate, but that's okay. We'll see how we go next time around. Stefan, welcome to you. I know that you've still got a little bit of a lurgy, but we're glad to see you here as always.
Yeah, hi Cheryl. How are you going?
I'm well. I'm okay. Good. I'm not coughing.
Yeah, we had some marvellous weather on the weekend, so got out and about, do a couple of games on Saturday and Sunday. So it was a really nice change from the last month. So very happy to talk about them a little bit later.
Very good. Madge, how about you?
Yeah, really good here. Keeping busy with a little bit of football, but otherwise just the normal work drudge.
Yep, the work drudge. We'll come back to Madge to talk about maybe some Matildas active updates as well. And then Eric, how are you doing? How's your week? How's your week in football?
It's less cold, so it was actually pretty pleasant on the weekend, all things considered, given where I went has reputations for being icy, but I was actually okay.
Good to hear. All right. And a shout out to Dale, who's not around, but hopefully his moving is going really quite well. If he's still hidden amongst boxes, we might have to send out a search party. All right. Let's talk about episode 101, Matildas Cap number 101. Alicia, although everyone really knows her as Eesh Ferguson, Matildas Cap number 101, someone that is really visible, and we don't always have the luxury of having Matildas who are out there and you're able to see them quite so easily. She spends a lot of time you can see her on social media. She's been on ESPN. She does some work for Optus Sport. She's really great to see her presence still around in the Matilda space and in the football space generally. But going back to some of her roots, or at least her Matildas roots, she debuted for the Matildas back in 1997 and played for the national team for a good 10 years up until 2007. She debuted as a youngster at 15 years of age, which is kind of a bit of a common thing with the Matildas. I don't know if it's starting to trend a little bit upwards these days, and I'm maybe not sure if Lachlan France or someone or rather can have a look at that for us as well. Her grassroots club, and this is for you, Madge, Stratford Dolphins. Tell us about them. Are they still around?
Oh, it's not immediately something that pops to mind. I'm not sure if it might be a Central or Northern Queensland club. It doesn't.
Was it Cairns? I thought
maybe. I don't know McCann's particularly well, but I hope they're still around. I'm
not sure that Dolphins play a lot of football, but shout out to them and hopefully they are still around. 68 appearances for the Matildas, 66 of those as A internationals, and she scored 4 goals. Position was at the start, I think she played as a forward, but then towards the later stages of her career, and certainly after she'd done an ACL, she moved into a midfielder position. She appeared in both the 1999 and 2007 World Cups. She played for the Millwall Lionesses. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them.
Now called London City Lionesses.
Oh, there you go. London City. Very easy. Back in 2012 and 2013 in the FA Women's Premier League. And she was also part of the Brisbane Roar inaugural side in the W League, which is now the A-League Women, back in 2008, 2009. But she unfortunately missed their winning grand final due to an ACL injury, which she sustained in the semi-final. Unfortunately, one of those stories about ACLs and women's football players. But as I said, these days it's pretty easy to spot Eesh on social media and as a presenter for Optus Sport. We also had a little while ago, Molly did a great write-up for us, so I've provided a link to that in our showcase notes.
It's actually, wow, how time flies. That's like 3 years ago, that article.
Yeah, that would have been back in the early days when Beyond 90 was just a baby, but we are no longer a baby. Speaking of babies, not really. We have Dale on the podcast as well. Dale, I'm glad that you've found your way out of the boxes that you've been unpacking, and I hope you're well.
Oh, just disappeared.
Okay. Bye, Dale.
His connection's not well, so
all right.
yes.
I thought. On Alicia, she's always been really generous. I think with her time with fans and the profile. I remember with the Raw call, we did a pre-season launch for the Raw one season, and Alicia was great. She did a video message for us to put up at the event. So, good egg.
Yeah, definitely a very, very good egg, as most of our Matildas are, and still in and around the game, which is great. All right, let's talk about, and congratulations, Eesh, on being cap number 101. Let's talk about hot topics and news that's out in football at the moment. The young Matildas have been busy. Eric, do you want to take us through some news?
Yes, so we know about the game they played on Sunday. How's my map? Sunday, 12th of June. There was actually another game, a closed doors game that apparently no one wanted us to know about, but I have contacts, and it's, if you've listened to the last few pods, you should be able to figure out who the contact is. So on Wednesday, Young Matildas beat New Zealand under 20s by 1-0, and Bryleeh Henry scored the winning goal. So you'll see in our pod notes that the only Instagram post relating to this I could find was from Hill Sports High School, a sporting high school in Western Sydney. Very proud that two of their a current student and a former student started. That would be those being Jessica Nash and Abby Lemon. So yes, so a 2-game series, even though only one of them was publicised, and Australia and New Zealand split the games.
Very good. Also some news there from New Zealand and their squad against some upcoming matches. I don't know who wants to take us through this.
Me. I'll go first, then you just pick up the scraps. So yes, New Zealand, they, as Cyril have said, announced their games for the next international window, where they are playing Norway and Wales. Good tests, both of those games. And three first call-ups to the senior side. I'm absolutely delighted for, firstly, Mackenzie Barry, a.k.a. Macavaza, the leader, the A-League women leader in blocks last season. And also another amazing Grace Jarley. And I'm so delighted to see a first Football Friends call up for a true Kiwi girl, that being Ali Green. So we'll see if any of those players take the field. Of course, I don't know. I don't remember Kate Taylor being announced as a first call up, so I think she might have been in one of the previous squads. But I think Kate's still uncapped at senior level by New Zealand. So a lot of familiar names, some new names as well. So and Victoria. So. I'm sorry, what was her name? Jitka Klimkova, kind of mixing up a bit. But does anyone else have any thoughts?
I just think we're scared about Spain, but good luck, New Zealand taking on Norway. So
yeah, that's yes. I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you did.
When is the match? When are the matches? Obviously in the FIFA window, but dates, times, broadcasting.
Let me have a look.
I don't have anything around that one, but I do know that they've also just announced that they are going to be taking on Japan in October as well.
Okay.
Which is a little bit further away, but yes, that will be, they will come to learn the pain that Australian football fans have had to deal with playing Japan over the last kind of decade and a half.
Very, very.
Just having a look at that squad there, though, as you say, it's good to see that there's a number of players there also who are coming back from overseas, not necessarily just America. Obviously, you have the players who are playing in the US with college, for example, but they're also keeping a few bodies warm in New Zealand with their kind of off-season program, which is really interesting. Not something that I'd heard a lot about, but would be interesting to see if that ends up being, kind of like I guess like a junior Matildas setup or NTC setup like we have over here. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how that kind of goes going forward, especially with Wellington in the A-League women's competition now.
Yep.
I'm liking. Sorry, go,
I've found the dates for New Zealand's next 2 games. So unfortunately, I've got local times on Wikipedia, so you'll have to do the maths to figure out when they are in your particular part of the world. But Norway versus New Zealand in Oslo, 25th of June, 5 p.m. local time. So I suspect that's the early hours of Sunday 26th for us on the Eastern Seaboard of Australia.
Here, I believe.
Yep. And then on Tuesday, 28th of June local time, 7 p.m., Wales versus New Zealand at the Pinatar Arena in Spain. So that would be early hours of Wednesday the 29th.
Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday the 29th, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. And
something like
broadcasting.
That,
so we know when they're on, we might be watching Twitter and seeing some tweets come through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's just under a week till that's broadcast. I'd assume that they'll be broadcast in New Zealand, whether that's on, what do they have over there? Spark Sport or whatever their Sky, Foxtel, Paramount equivalent is. But yeah, I'd assume that they'd be broadcast in New Zealand. Don't know about here though. You have to go.
If we find out, we'll update our show notes and make sure people have a chance.
The usual stream situation that we would have had prior to, good online coverage for the Matildas.
Shout out from me to the Melbourne connections in the squad as well. So I believe Katie Bowen, Claudia Bunge, Annalie Longo, Rebecca Stott, and Hannah Wilkinson have all dabbled in either Melbourne City or Melbourne Victory. So, and really good to see Annalie Longo in there. I think she made a big impact when she played for Melbourne Victory. So I'm really pleased to see her in there. And I think New Zealand
Jale at Heidelberg as well.
Yes, that's the one.
That's true. Yes. So I feel like New Zealand squad is just getting stronger and stronger, or maybe I'm just getting more familiar and thinking that it's stronger. So I think it'll be a really good test against Norway and Wales for them. Any thoughts from yourself, Stefan, as well? I mean, you might know some of the players in Norway better than others.
It'll certainly be a stern test, that one. I don't know much about the Welsh form. Does anyone know how Wales are going these days? Yeah, but the Norway team just looks incredible when you look at it player for player. But the Kiwi squad, I'm the same as you, Cheryl. I get a sense too that they're building very nicely as well. So it'll be good preparation and that Japan game as well. So yeah.
What's their ranking at the moment?
Norway, they're not in the top 10.
And New Zealand, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're not an easy beat. Anyway, the guys will maybe go off and do some homework on this on the side. Let's move on and talk about Matildas. So we do have a couple of matches coming up for the Matildas. The first one that's coming up is, I think, at 5:30 a.m. Sunday morning, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully people are going to be ready to watch that, I believe. And I'm making things up a little bit. It will be broadcast on Channel 10 and Paramount. So you've got options there with how to watch it. Yeah. And the most recent news that's come through, which thanks, Eric, for popping that in our Slack channel, because I haven't had a chance to keep up to date with everything, and for updating the show notes. So Jamilla Rankin has replaced Angie Beard in the Matilda squad. Angie Beard omitted due to personal reasons, and we're not sure what that is, but hopefully all is well. And it's about being a nice balanced person. Maybe she's fatigued, maybe it's something else, but a really great opportunity for Jamilla Rankin, who I really rate. I think she's a top player, and I imagine, Madge, you'd be a fan as well.
Yeah, of course you don't like it when it's at the expense of someone else, so all the best to Angie for whatever reason that she's made herself not available. But Jamilla, so she's been to a couple of Matilda's senior camps, I think, but still hasn't quite gotten that cap, I don't believe. So possibly against Spain, that'd be a story.
And the other story that we've got for the Spanish team is that Jenny Hermoso is out of the Euros, and no doubt out of this friendly as well, due to an injury that she sustained. I don't know if it was in a game or in training, but Madge, you said it was a knee.
Yeah, so they said it was a ligament injury. So it didn't say it was an ACL. So hopefully that means that she'll be well available to be one of the big stars coming over for the World Cup. But yeah, unfortunately, the Euros will be without her by the looks of it.
Let's talk about that match, not the Euros, but let's talk about the match which is coming up on Sunday. I'm assuming everyone's going to get up nice and early and watch it, but I don't want to make it so simplified just to talk about predictions. It will be a tough match, I expect, based on the squad that the Matildas are taking across, because it is some emerging players. It's not necessarily our starting 11. But Dale, your thoughts on what the chances are and what do you hope to see?
Progress, I think, would be the first thing that I'd want to see. I think that that's kind of the biggest thing that we're looking for at the moment. Obviously, we know that there are going to be a few players from both sides, as we mentioned, who aren't going to be there. Hermoso being one, Kerr not being called up for this one to give her a bit of a rest, I think is a good thing. I think, as I said, that the biggest thing for me is players being able to show what they've got, kind of unburdened from the expectation that there's a result that needs to come out of this game. And I think the other thing is that we kind of want to see, we don't really get a chance to play the top European teams outside of like warm-ups for tournaments very often, or in tournaments very often. So I think this kind of friendly is really good, because it kind of gives us an idea of where we sit in terms of, you know, not necessarily just now, but potentially talking about the next kind of 4-year World Cup cycle or 5-year Olympic cycle, about, you know, where Spain are at as well. We'll know what their market, what their kind of low watermark is, for want of a word, and then we can measure ourselves against that and hopefully go forward and learn more about those younger players in that kind of competitive international environment.
Eric, your thoughts?
Okay, firstly, some admin, because I found your answers to rankings. So Norway is ranked 11, surprisingly low for them. New Zealand's 22 and Wales 31. Then, actually, I can't remember what we are, but Spain 7. Oh, so we're 12. Spain 7 and Portugal 30. So yes, we are 12th. So yeah,
I got something right. I'm really quite impressed with that, and I think we should pause and just reflect on how.
So anyway, moving on. So onto my thoughts about the game. And you said what I wanted to see. I would like to see a Matildas debut, and I haven't thought much past that. Oh, actually, and Winona Heatley as well. Actually, and why not Mackenzie Hawkesby and Taylor Reid? Why not?
I think that the point that you make about Hawkesby is going to be super interesting, because I think that she is, I mean, this is a big call, but I think that she is in some ways the missing piece of the puzzle, or a player like her is the missing piece of the puzzle in our midfield at the moment, because we kind of have these very nice, languid, you know, soft is the wrong word, but like, you know, silky touch midfielders. You've got Chids, Gorry, Van Egmond, very nice on the ball, but like Mackenzie Hawkesby and kind of the player who walked so she could run in Chloe Lagazzo, are really missing from this lineup. And I know that Lagazzo's a little bit away, but I think that kind of competition for spots would be super interesting going forward into the World Cup. Don't know if Hawkesby will be in the World Cup squad. Obviously, it's another 12 months away, but I really, really rate her. She was actually, from what I recall, she was the highest rated player throughout the whole A-League women's campaign in terms of, I think it's Who Scored or one of those ranking sites on a per game basis. So I think she's earned this call up. And I mean, Eric and I will know this, but we've been watching her in New South Wales NPL women's, and she is like head and shoulders the best midfielder in the competition at the moment.
Indeed.
I think.
Very nice.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she gets a go.
Oh, okay. I was just to Dale's point about the exposure to the European teams. I actually think it's also, even though I'm not holding my breath for the result in any way, but I think it's nice for this kind of squad to get exposure as well, because I think in the previous times when we have come up against European sort of strong opposition, it has been at big tournaments, or it was those friendly games against Germany and the Netherlands a couple of years ago, where we still played very strong squads. So it's probably a really good opportunity for the wannabes who really want to crack into the starting 11 to see what the standard is and really taste that in a competitive environment. So I think that's a really great opportunity, which, it's, and I'm sure the coaching staff will be setting the expectations within the team sort of accordingly. So I think that's really exciting that we can really use it as a great learning opportunity.
And Stefan, thoughts from you as well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who steps up and shows some leadership in the absence of some of our other leaders in the team.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, that's could be very revealing, I think, in these two games, and could be good for us moving forward if some of our players do step up and show that.
Okay. And then for me, I think I'm looking forward to seeing Minnie out there. We have a number of players who won't be available, but Minnie is one person who has made herself available. So that'll be terrific to see. And I'm actually really keen to see Spain play as well.
You'll see that. Don't worry.
Yeah, I just had a look at their squad and it's absolutely terrifying.
Who terrifies you the most? Well, I mean, second most, because we probably know the most.
I mean, I think Putellas is obviously the kind of, the name brand, for want of a word, but I think there's probably a player that I don't think gets the credit that she deserves, and that's Aitana Bonmatí from Barcelona. I think that she's just incredibly good to watch. Paredes is, pretty run-of-the-mill, very good Spanish ball-playing centre-back, but I'm having a look through the squad at the moment. And the other thing that kind of surprises me, I guess, is that they don't have any players with over 100 caps. They only have 2 players with over 50. Campaños, the goalkeeper, has 50 exactly. But so I think this is kind of similar for them. I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether Spain take this as a solid hit out, or they take this as an opportunity to integrate some new players into the team. I guess we'll see that. That'll be interesting. But yeah, Bonmatí, I think nearly scored that half field goal was it the Champions League final or the Champions League semi-final? But yeah, she's very good. And yeah, I think 20 of this 26 player squad, or 28 player squad, come from either Barcelona or Real Madrid. So they'll know how to play together as well.
All right, looking forward to it. And then in the following pod, we'll talk about the next match for the Matildas, which will be against Portugal. And we'll certainly have some learnings from this first match and see how we go from there. On to, actually, before we move on, I want to give a bit of a shout out, and maybe Madge will follow up, but Matildas Active have put a range of gear out there. I know that their pre-orders have closed, but Madge, give yourselves a bit of a shout out for all of the hard work that the team do in trying to get Australian women's football fans out and about and dressed appropriately.
Yeah, so I think we've all complained about the dearth of the merch options, and actually some feedback we just got on Twitter was that one of the guys said that you've actually got large sizes for men for women's team supporter gear. So we try and provide some cool stuff for cool people. And at the same time, we're not for profit, so any sort of proceeds that we make off of our merch sales just go towards us being able to fund getting banners done, sending them around the country, skinning drums, all that sort of some of the boring stuff that makes game day really fun. So we've got pre-order of scarves, so you can still order some scarves, mugs, and stubby holders as well, and some stickers. So, and we'll have some other merch options coming as well. And also for the game on Sunday, I think we'll do our usual Twitter Spaces at probably halftime and full time if people want to jump on and have a debrief about the game on Twitter.
Sounds good. You won't be in a little pub somewhere at stupid AM?
I don't think so. We leave that for the big events.
Very good. And speaking of big events, certainly the next home one that we're expecting to see is the match against Canada in September. So I don't know if you want more people to be signed up to help out the Matildas Active as well. So up and around then, we'll try and put some more flavour out there to see if people are interested in joining the gang. And
waiting for where the other venue is going to be as well. So before we sort of start organising things, but we'll no doubt have a pre-game pub in Sydney and wherever the second game is.
Very good. Thanks for that, Madge. I appreciate it. And we appreciate the Matildas Active as well. They do a top job and they work very hard. So great to see. Let's talk about Dub. Dub's a bit quiet. Dub's a long way away at the moment, but there has been an announcement, which is exciting. Stefan?
Yeah, such a great positive announcement, this one. The first signing announcement for Canberra United for the season. Nikki Flannery was announced this morning. positive in so many ways. First of all, it's just a great way the club is saying that we value you, that we want you. We know you've been through a rough 12 months coming back from your ACL. She's made a pretty useful start, I'll have to say, from what we're about to find out with the New South Wales results. But it's just a good boost to her confidence, I think, to get her, back in the fold. I think we missed her last season, and it's also a good message to the rest of the players in the prospective players in the team and the club. They can see that if they're looking after Nikki, then they'll probably look after me as well. The other thing I liked about it was that it's a 2-year signing, which is a bit unusual, I think, for Canberra United. One of the issues that the squad has had the last few seasons is that while we're good at retaining our Canberra-based players, we're not so good at doing what some of the other successful clubs have done the last few years, in that we're retaining a core outside of the locals. And perhaps this is the first step in seeing some longer-term signings and getting more continuity across the entire squad and not losing half your squad every season. So I'm very keen to see if the club follows up in that regard. But really pleased for Nikki and for the Canberra fans. There's been some other news in Canberra too this week. It's been quite an interesting week. We've had an assistant coach announced in Ant Jagerinick, and of course has history. He's been an assistant coach before a few years ago, and of course is the architect of Belconnen United's 10-season reign at the top of capital football here in the women's scene. So it's really good to have him back on board. And also Nicole Begg and Ashley Sykes have come on board as coaching support staff. So the way they describe it is that they're going to be mentors for the players. The club has also said they'll be bringing in other Canberra United luminaries to help out in that regard as well. The only slight downside from all this, and this all sounds terrific, a real strong Canberra presence across the entire setup. Only downside is that Ashley Sykes has said that she won't be playing this coming season, which is a real shame because we will miss her. But lots of good news stories this week out of Canberra.
You never know, we might be able to change her mind.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen a late entry in some of the football.
Very true. Yes.
Very good. Thank you for the update. And we may as well continue talking about things that Stefan knows all about. If you want to jump into Nordic football, and Stefan was giving us a heads up just before we went live as well, saying that there will be a summer break. So listen in carefully to see where we're up to before the summer break.
Yeah, so these are the last games across all the Nordic leagues for quite a few weeks, until about early August, I believe. So I'll just go through them very quickly. We know that in Denmark, of course, that their season's finished, so they'll be starting up their next season in early August. In Norway, they had a catch-up round, round 9. They played round 14 last week, so this must have been a round due to bad weather or something. 6th place, LSK Kavina lost 3-1 away to 4th place Stabæk. I watched that game, and LSK's heads weren't in that game, really. I think they were looking forward to the summer break already. Not their best showing. Stabæk was sharp and looked good. Fiona Wirtz played the whole game, but was unable to hit the scorecard for once. Let's hope that when they regroup for the next part of the season, that Carly is back on board. She's had a surgery and is recuperating. I have no idea how she's going with her recuperation, but it would be wonderful to see her back in 6 or 8 weeks or whatever, back with the squad and playing again. And as it turns out, they're going to be playing Vålerenga, which is Ellie Green's team, and they're coming third at the moment. They had a 2-0 away loss to second-placed Rosengard, and Ellie came on for the last 11 minutes in that game. Over in Sweden, it was round 15, and Rosengard had a 6-0 away win against bottom team AIK, which is Remy Simpson's team. Tegan Micah played a full game, and Charlie Grant was once again not named in the team, so not really sure what's going on there, whether she's just a little unwell.
Well, at least some of the Matildas are in Spain, so Charlie might be there as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's right. That's probably what's happening. But yeah, there was a second week out. So yeah, you're probably right, Eric. That's exactly what's probably going on. But yeah, good win. Remy Simpson, I think, played a full game in that game. I haven't got the note there, but yeah, I'll double check that later on. Vitcho, who are having a good season with Polks and Mini, they unfortunately in this game had a 2-1 away loss against 10th place Cerebro, and they both played full games in this one. So that sort of brings a bit of an end to a really good run of games that they've had. So it's hoping that after the break, they can get their mojo back as well. And finally, over at Hammarby, where Courtney Nevin is tearing up the season, they're having a fantastic time there. They lost 2-1 at home against BK Häcken, who are currently in fourth place, and it's quite unusual to see Häcken down in fourth place. They're usually always first or second, so it's a little drop in form there, but still good enough to beat Hammarby on this occasion, 2-1. And Courtney played a full game, and Kyra Cooney-Cross played the last 23 minutes of that game. And finally, over in Iceland, where it was round 10, Gemma Simon played a full game for Throtter. They lost 2-1 at home against top side Valor, and Throtter are currently in fifth place. Ninth placed KR Reykjavik, where Margot Chevet and Susan Fongsong Cam are, lost 3-1 away to seventh place Keflavik. And Susan scored KR's goal. So she's it's not her first goal there too. So she's doing quite well for the team, especially a team that's struggling in some games, but she's going well. And Margot played 70 minutes and Susan played a full game. And finally, Melina Ayres is at Breidablik, who are coming second, so they're going well. They won 4-0 away to Thor, who are eighth at present, and Melina only got on the park for the last 5 minutes of that game. So happy summer break to all our players over there.
Thanks, Stefan. Surprising for me, I think a couple of the players not getting as much game time. Certainly at least what I would like to see, but I'm not involved in any of those decisions. And it would be good for Melina Ayres to get some more time, but yeah, not just her, other players as well. Rock, paper, scissors, Madge and Dale. Who wants to talk about the NWSL? Or you can talk about a game each and then flip for the last one.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start off with where was I? Sorry, I just scrolled away. So we had Alex Chidiac did not have a great day this week. Washington Spirit 2, Racing Louisville 2. Alex Chidiac comes off with a broken nose after 6 minutes, which is a very unfortunate injury in a relatively non-contact sport. So she, as I said, she'll come off and hopefully she's all right, get it patched up, and we can see, maybe Alana Kennedy could lend her a mask. Ooh.
No, I think she's got some kind of request out for superheroes.
Superhero names while she is wearing her cool mask.
Did anyone think of one?
We need to get one of those, like somebody, you know how you see players have like customized boots, like painted boots.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get her like a painted mask, like a Florentine mask, or make it happen. Somebody.
Madge, this sounds like some Matildas Active kind of merch. I'd love to see everyone out there with some masks. Can we do that?
Eventually, I mean,
yeah,
we have to have like we're getting to the point where like eventually maybe all of our players will have worn a mask at some stage. There's, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just an ideas man, Yes. Sorry, your turn, Madge. You can have this one.
Yeah, well, Chelsea Dorber, after she got her debut, I think last week when we were chatting, but she was an unused sub in the Kansas City's game against the Chicago Red Stars, which ended up as a 2-2 draw. So hopefully we'll see Chelsea, or is Chelsea in the squad, the Matildas squad?
No.
No.
Well, it hasn't been said. But... the speculation is it's to let her settle into, this environment. But yeah,
would make sense.
Yeah.
Good. So hopefully we'll see Chelsea get some more game time shortly.
It's great to be in a great squad, but it's about getting time on the park as well when you're, under match requirements, not just training hard, but being able to take it out on the field as well.
And the league leaders, San Diego got an away win against Gotham I think they're playing their games at Red Bull Arena now. Emily Van Egmond played a full game, and surprising no one was booked.
Yep. Love it.
What happened with Rapinoe as well? Did anyone see that?
No.
She got
no.
two yellows, I understand.
Oh, that's interesting.
Some quick homework. Come on.
I was going to say, I didn't see that. I do know that Portland beat Orlando 6-0 at home today, which, tough scene if you're Orlando, both because you lost 6-0 and you have to play in Orlando, which from all reports is a hot, sweaty, not as fun Brisbane.
Yeah. Good. Actually, that's a great analogy.
Yes. But yes, I have the goal notifications on my phone for the Thorns, and my phone was running white hot this morning because they were flying in. But yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened with Rapinoe. That's interesting. I'll have to have a look.
It came up a little bit in my feed. So,
and did I see? I think Jess Bishlop may have put up a post as well. So I think it may have been around some referee decision.
There may have been some dissent.
Dissent by word or action. That is a yellow card.
Yes. And if you do it twice, well, yeah, there you go.
That's exactly right. And yeah, there are a few other games in the NWSL, but no Aussies in those ones.
Yep. It's still important, but yeah, no Aussies in those ones. So we'll talk about where we've probably got plenty of Aussies, talk about some state football. Stefan, we've given you a little bit of a break, but we're going to throw you back in there again. Do you want to give us the results and some banter around ACT round 10?
Yeah, no worries. It was a good round. It was 3 close games out of 4, which you don't always see in the Capital Football League. So I hope there's more of that. It's always very welcome. I was at McKellar Park on a very nice sunny Saturday afternoon to see a replay of the Women's Federation Cup final between Belconnen United and Canberra Olympic. That ended up being a very entertaining 1-1 draw. Karen Clark, who's a senior player, I guess, of the Belconnen side, has just returned from quite a long injury stint. She played in goals in the Fed Cup final when they were short of a keeper, and has come out and had 2 really influential games playing back at centre back. So kudos to Scott Conlon, the Belconnen coach, for instructing her to take the free kick towards the end of the game, which got the equaliser. Talia Backhouse, the captain, was lining up to take it, and Scott said, no, you go up and use your terrific heading skills in the box and get the long range. Karen's got a fantastic long range boot on her, so she managed to sneak her shot into the goal past some defenders and the keeper to equalise against a very strong Canberra Olympic side, where Olivia Fogarty came on in the second half and scored their goal. So that'll be written up this week for the Capital Football Write-Up. Another pleasing result, though, was seeing Wagga City obtain their first point this season against third place West Canberra Wanderers. So it was the Wanderers derby. That was played at Melrose Synthetic. So Wagga travelled up, played on an unfamiliar surface, and managed to get a point out of that game. So it's quite good going against a team who've been as successful this year as so far as West Canberra. So good on you, Wagga. Canberra Croatia had a very convincing 8-0 victory at home against Tuggeranong United, with Brittany Palombi bagging a hat-trick. Jenny Bissett got 2, and Grace Gill, Krista Hagan and Bella Barrick got a goal each. And finally, at Gungahlin Oval, there was a 2-2 draw between Gungahlin United and Canberra United Academy, which also looked like a very entertaining game. Darby Whiteley, who's just come back from the US, it's her second game back, scored both goals for Gungahlin. And Riley McQueenie and Taylor Hampson scored for Canberra United Academy. And it perhaps a sign that Gungahlin are starting to find their feet a bit in the league and starting to perhaps make a move up the ladder. So that's it for ACT.
Thanks, Stefan. Is that Palombi's first hat trick this season? Or
I'd be surprised if it was.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe there'd been 1 or 2 more. So maybe she's at close to the top of the goal list. I'm not sure.
Yeah, likely. I'll double check, but yes, she's always up there. Yeah.
Very good. All right, New South Wales. We've got maybe 2 candidates to talk about this, but you can go Harvey's if you want, or
Eric, you can have this one.
Okay, sure. So full round of 6 games in NPL New South Wales. And the game that I only remember today I am supposed to write about, so keep an eye out for the report later on in the week. Northwest Sydney Spirit travelled up to the Hunter Valley and defeated Emerging Jets by 5-1. Doubles for Talia Macri and Rachel Patterson, who you may know as Rachel Sutar. She was married in the off-season. Congratulations to her. And the other goal coming from Sonny Franco, while the Emerging Jets goal was from Bryleeh Gentle, who, it's always tough for these sides full of literal children, but Bryleeh Gentle has banged a few goals away this season. Good on her. Then there was a 0-0 draw between Bankstown City and Football New South Wales Institute. Both teams had a goal disallowed in the second half, so frustrating stuff all around, it feels like. Then into the game, I called for NPL TV. RPL Leichhardt made the long trip to Linwood Park in far southwest Sydney to play Macarthur Rams and won 3-0. A double from Nikki Flannery, her first 2 goals since coming back from ACL injury. It's been a great week for her. And also a goal for Shay Connors. Shay Connors now joint top of the NPL New South Wales Golden Boot race with Ash Brodigan from Northern Tigers, 7 goals each. Illawarra Stingrays, they've had some absolutely shocking troubles with just getting a full field to train on down there. There's with all the rain we've had in Sydney and the surrounding areas down to Wollongong up to Newcastle. So this is actually the first time in round 11 that they've used their normal home ground of JJ Kelly Park, but they pulled out a win, 2-1 over Manly United. Chloe Middleton scored 2 spectacular long-range goals. Manly's consolation coming from, well, no one's really sure. It was the kind of scrappy goal. If you happen to watch the highlights on NPL TV or NPL New South Wales socials, your guess is as good as mine, but I've given it to Corinne Winkler. But yeah, make sure you see those 2 Chloe Middleton goals. And then good news for a friend of Beyond90's daughter in Rudy Hill, as Blacktown Spartans came from behind to beat Sydney Olympic 2-1. Olympic took the lead with a long-range goal, so that's another goal you'd want to check out on NPL TV. Long-range strike from Armenian international Claudia Chalakian, but the Spartans had the comeback with 2 goals in the last 20 minutes, one from their captain Rosie Galea and a winning goal from Abby Lemon, who has continued a fine week. She's played her first 2 games for the Young Matildas, and then she scores the match winner for Blacktown Spartans. And finally, in the top of the table clash, which was also a rematch of the 2019 grand final, Sydney University defeated Northern Tigers by 1-0, inflicting the Tigers' first loss of the season, their first loss in over 12 months. Goal was from Annabelle Martin, and also brilliant commentary as always from Teo Pellizzeri. So a couple of great Victorians at Sydney University.
Oh, so sweet. Annabelle Martin.
Be quiet.
Eric had nice things to say about Victoria. I like it. Or people.
Yes, because I know I can define a Victorian properly. Moving on.
Yes, that's true. Hey, but before we move on as well, Annabelle Martin, it's good to see her score a goal. And I'm not sure at all, actually. Congratulations, Annabelle, but I'm not sure when was the last time that we may have seen that happen. So if anyone knows, but
scored 4 goals in the 2019 season. I'm not sure about 2020.
That's
and
weird,
then obviously she
Eric.
missed 2021. What's weird?
Okay.
Why is that weird?
It's weird that you kind of just ponder and say.
Gets paid the big bucks in terms of commentary.
It's actually big bucks if you divide it by hours spent on prep, because there is no prep.
Yes.
Well done. Thank you for that. Your turn, Madge.
Yeah, so we had a full round in Queensland as well as a couple of catch-up games. So the first of the catch-up games, Kapalaba were too strong for Brisbane Olympic, winning 3-0. Goals to Jasmine Genovese, Leah Miles and Larissa Crummer. I think that was the last game that she's played before she's obviously gone off to join the Matildas squad. Tuesday catch-up as well. The QAS went down 2-1 to Eastern Suburbs. The QAS had a goal from Tamar Levin, but Eastern Suburbs had goals to Lauren Askin, Aona Goda as well. So Eastern Suburbs are hanging around there sort of in mid-table, always a tough team. Then on to Moreton Bay United. They drew 1-1 with Eastern Suburbs as well. A goal to Georgia Beaumont, who of course played with Adelaide last season, and former Raw player Sophie Person, each grabbing a goal for each side there. Brisbane Olympic again then took on South United. Olympic took that one out 2-1 with goals to Innocent Michael and Christina Amajoyi. And then for South United, Brisbane Roar player Ki Katano grabbed a goal for them. The game I actually got along to a nice pizza there at Lions FC. It was a top of the table clash. Very good pizza at Lions FC. You wouldn't think so because it's kind of like just a big club, sort of pokies but very nice wood fired pizzas.
Good to know. Sounds like Brisbane City of competition.
They do. I will actually, hand on heart, better than the Brisbane City pizza.
Ooh, that's high praise indeed.
Impressive.
But yeah, Lions FC it was a bit of a stalemate in the first half with 0-0 to half time, but then Lions sort of ran away with it in the second half with goals to Tegan Riding opened the goal scoring, then Amy Gunston. Amy Gunston actually gave the assist for the first goal to Tegan, and then of course Marielika rounded out. She came on quite late as well, and also Eesh Norrie wasn't lining up for Lions as well, so I'm not sure if she was injured. So they were down a few key players, but still took that one out 3-0.
Yeah. So Lions FC showing life after Shay Connors, just same as it always has been.
They're fine. They're rolling on. There was actually a couple of really good battle there between Amy Gunston, who I've shouted out as one of my faves as well, and Anna Malgraf as well. So a bit of fun down the sideline until Amy was moved to the other wing. But it was good fun to watch. But Lions running away with that one. And then Sunshine Coast Wanderers went down 3-0 to Gold Coast United. But we don't have the goal scorers for that one.
Yeah, I didn't put him in because they on the match center only gives us one goal scorer. So might as well. It looks a bit weird if I only put 1 for 3, but might as well shout her out on the pod. So this is great. Yeah, Bronte Rose is one of Gold Coast United's goal scorers. So apologies for the incomplete information, but
let's just say she got a hat trick.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, actually, I'll put that in. I'm happy with that.
3 times. Yeah.
All right, on to Victorian football, and apologies. We were trying to organise a special guest to talk about the halfway point of the season and to get some insights from someone who's seen a lot more of the football than I have. Taryn, hope you're feeling better soon, and we'll get you on the pod at some point when you're back at it and feeling good. Just some results in there as well. So Alamein went down 3-0 against Bryleeh Lions. So Bryleeh still in third position and Alamein in fourth. Caldy United, who are top of the table at the moment, they sit very happily there and quite often sit there. 7-1 victory against Bayside United, who are bottom of the table. Heidelberg United, who are currently second, beat South Melbourne, who are seventh. They beat them 3-1. And finally, FV Emerging had a 1-0 victory over Box Hill United. That was 5v6. So I think if I look at the table at the moment, it's sort of kind of getting where you would normally see teams ready to be. I think Heidelberg United are having a really good season, and it shows the investment that they've put into the team and to the pitch. They have a beautiful pitch out there as well. So, yeah, but we'll try and get more detail for you about the Vic rounds as well and really get some focus on that, particularly as we've got some a bit of a break in the Nordic leagues, and we'll be able to delve a little bit deeper.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, Cheryl, but I just got some extra detail on that latest Bryleeh victory. So 2 goals from Alana Janchevsky, and for all the Janchevsky fans out there, don't worry if she's not been making these squads. My word is she's still very much in the thoughts of all the coaching staff there. So all is not lost if you would like to see Alana at the Under-20 World Cup in Costa Rica. The other goal, as usual, was from Leah Privatelli. And my favorite part of this game is former Beyond 90 rider Lani Johnson picked up a yellow card, and I'm just picturing her absolutely smashing someone. So I'm hoping she's come down from Sydney to Victoria, and hoping that she's making an impact on the locals, literally.
Sounds like it is an impact. Queens of the week. I'm going to kick off and then you can all talk about yours. I've got a toss up between Alex Chidiac for her broken nose and her attempt to make it a little bit more humorous than it probably feels by trying to get some crazy superhero mask stuff going on. So I hope that goes well. And Alex, we hope that your nose is okay enough and that gets reset pretty quickly. And the other big news for me, I'm a fan of both Barcelona and Lucy Bronze. So to see them united, to see Lucy Bronze leave Man City and head over to there, I think is, for me, it's kind of like a fantastic arrangement. So coin to the week for both of them. How about you, Dale?
My coin of the week is Sydney Uni. First team to beat Northern Tigers in over 12 months. But, pretty impressive when you consider that they've lost a bunch of players recently. They've kind of dispersed around the league, not necessarily gone overseas or anything like that, but good to see Annabelle Martin get on the score sheet, as we were alluding to earlier. Unfortunately, Joker of the Week goes to the Sydney University match balls, which were deemed not properly inflated 4 minutes into the match.
How many match balls, Dale? There's at least three, I think.
I think it was, 3 or 4 of them. So Joker of the Week is air for there not being enough of it in the ball.
That stuff is free.
It is. It's literally all around us.
There's not a funding cut or anything like that.
No, it's not. And also Sydney Uni is like one of the richest sporting clubs in Sydney, you'd say, or amateurish sporting clubs in Sydney. So they have plenty of air to spare.
Very good. What about Eric?
Yes. So my queen of the week is from the match of the century in Turkey, where the Republic of Ireland played the Philippines. So London City Lionesses midfielder Lily Agg made her debut for the Republic of Ireland and scored the only goal in the game. So 1-0 win, and well done to you, Lily. A goal on your international debut. That's really something special. And so Ireland looking good for their next World Cup qualifier against Georgia. So that's on next weekend. And in case you're wondering what those two nations are doing in Turkey, well, that's a good question. But I think it's that there's enough facilities for a training camp for multiple nations. I know that the Philippines are going to be there and then play a couple of games against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I think those games are actually in Slovenia. So everyone's flying everywhere.
Didn't the Socceroos play a few games in Turkey recently, and they were all at like one? Oh no, I'm thinking of the
Matildas were at their pre-camp for 2019.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. The Intercontinental playoff was played there, both home and away, for the Olympics.
Yes, that's correct.
And they were played at like literally just like a resort on the Turkish coast.
Yes, so very big Algarve Cup vibes.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised Eric didn't talk about Denise O'Sullivan's goal.
I mean, it's unnecessary at this point, surely. Didn't he? Well,
you've talked about it enough.
I mean, is it? Do I need to do it? Also, there's two players I've never named.
I'll do it for you now.
He's trying to outsource it now so he can talk about other players.
I mean, there's two players I've never named as Queen of the Week because it's kind of feels unnecessary. And if you, as a hint, if you don't know, they both play for Melbourne City. So,
well, I think I'll give my Queen of the Week to Jamilla Rankin for getting that late call up to the Matildas. Great young player, and let's hope she gets some game time in one of the games coming up.
Nice, and a nice way to finish, Stefan. I think you've got a nice Queen of the Week as well.
Yeah, I'm going to shock you all and announce Nikki Flannery is my Queen of the Week, scoring her first goal since coming back from her ACL and being announced as Canberra United's first signing for the season. So, fantastic.
And if you wanted, it really was predictable because Stefan didn't type it in. I did.
Very nice. Well, no shock at all, and very nice to finish on a nice note as well. Apart from a lack of air in some Sydney match balls, apart from that, a really good week in football, and looking forward to another good week in football. Always when we get to see the Matildas play, it's a great week in football. So on behalf of myself and the crew at Beyond 90 and the other people, because Madge is a Matildas active, on behalf of all the Matildas active as well, who do a great job in getting the support out there for the Matildas. Congratulations on that. Thank you. We'll see you next week for episode 102. Thank you all. Bye-bye.